Well, hi again. Thanks for joining me for another episode in my ongoing series to discuss my stroke recovery. Today, I'd like to talk about the topic of perseverance. People have asked me, how is it that you're able to keep going after more than 4 years of dealing with all the physical challenges and things you've had to overcome? And that's a pretty good question because it's something, frankly, that I've asked myself. And I think, in summation, it's kind of trying to take a long-term view of how the progress is coming. I mean, initially, as I've mentioned before, I was very confused and bewildered and scared. And in doing some research about stroke recovery, I learned that there's a scale called a Brunstrom scale of recovery, and it's a very interesting thing. I mentioned this in a previous video, but it only covers the physical aspects of recovery from a stroke. And as my recovery progressed, I began to realize there's a lot of other phases to recovery besides simply physical. And over time, I realized that that really broke out into three phases of recovery, and they didn't always fall into distinct categories, but including some different things. I looked at it from an overall functional perspective. More simply, to me, it came out in three phases. One, what I call survival. The second one that I called sustainment. And the third level is what I call succeeding. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, survival was just recovering the basic skills, recovering or adapting to the basic skills of just existing, being able to, frankly, go to the bathroom by myself, fix myself something to eat, walk around the house, dress myself, get in and out of bed. I mean, things that seem unbelievably ordinary that you do all day, every day without even thinking about became major chores. And luckily, I was able to regain those fairly quickly within a couple of months. But where did I go from there? The recovery had to keep going. And of course, I wasn't content to stay there. And as my abilities began to improve and I began to adjust to the new realities of limited mobility and that, I gained more skills at different things, and like for example, driving a car. And that's when I moved into what I call the second phase, which is sustainment. In other words, not just surviving on a day-to-day basis, but being able to go to the store to buy groceries and that, to throw dirty laundry in the washing machine and then put it in the dryer and take it out. Um, Again, I know these things seem pretty basic, but they're kind of hard when you've only got one hand and one working leg. So, and then you think, well, okay, and I'm coming along pretty well in those phases. Still got a ways to go in some, but then what about succeeding? What do I mean by that? Well, that is adapting and recovering and discovering ways to really become a productive member of society again, to be able to add value to the lives of others, to be able to initiate a project and see it through, even a very simple project. Um, as I may have mentioned, I did a lot of writing in my career, and so my wife would want me to do some little writing projects for her, and having the mental presence to write something very simple took a long time. I just couldn't concentrate. But I've regained that, and I'm getting a little better at it. For example, these videos could never have done these even a year ago. Just not possible. So anyway, that's what kind of helps keep me going. That's how I'm able to persevere, by getting better in different areas and seeing how that comes together in terms of my functioning as a human being and a member of society. So keeping my mind on the things that are positive, that encourage me, the encouragement I receive from others, those are really big elements of persevering. Now I'm into my fifth year, well into my fifth year. I wish it were going faster, but it's not. But I try and keep an eye on the big picture. That, and I'm just too stubborn to quit. So, tell me how you have persevered in challenges and what keeps you going. Even if you're not disabled, what keeps you going in a world that seems to have gone crazy and is so frustrating and seems so bewildering for so many people? Again, I love hearing your stories. Thanks for sending me stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.